Join us for a lesson today. Molly rode Davina, and also I got to ride Davina, which is really exciting.
Davina's been out of work for about 6 months to a year now, except for some lunging, and she's a bit overweight, and so of course we are going to warm her up really well, walk her around, and then lunge her, but I just didn't film that today. Warm-up's about 15 minutes to 20 minutes, and then I still notice she kind of warms up under saddle as well.
So how long did you put your stirrups? Just down one? Okay. Okay. So now I'd like us to think about stretching the leg all the way down, putting our toes forward a little bit, not like force, but they are just pointing out a little bit, and we want to just see if we can rotate our thigh. Yes. It's not so much about forcing your ankle, it's just rotate your thigh. That's beautiful. Nice and long. And then I want you to think about sitting a little bit more on the front of your pelvis, just a little bit. But find a happy medium where you're not pulling yourself there. So if you feel like all your ab strength is being put towards it, oh, I think right there is where we want it. What do you think? Okay. So right there is where you want it, and basically what happened is our stirrups got longer, and then we had to do some thigh rotating because of this dressage saddle seat, and then it sits us pretty deep, so then we have to sit up a little bit or we're a little bit behind. So now let's find that happy medium, and then let's roll our shoulders back. If you have to loosen your wings, that's fine. Just do some really big, nice rolls with those shoulders, and then try to settle them in a comfortable position where you feel stable with your arms. And so when we get on, we can always like jiggle these things and adjust and just see what feels good, what feels stuck, all these things. It's all right, let's change direction. It'll be easier for her. Okay, let's take up your reins a little more now. So if you ever start feeling tight or off or tilted forward or something, these are the things you can check and adjust and see if you can find a comfortable spot. But I like where you are. If you start going faster and you start feeling like you're getting left behind and pushed to the back, then you may want to roll onto your pelvis a little more. But what else that can do is that can encourage more movement and forward motion from your horse. I think she's warming up.
I can tell, when her brain clicks in, I can tell.
Right? She gets in the game, and it takes a while because the aftermath in the beginning are uncomfortable for her.
Because she's been out of shape.
Yes, exactly. You feel like you're getting left behind, move forward. If your horse is stuck and won't move forward, you can go into this more forward seat. Good. And then let's touch on some stuff we had talked about last week. Just keep her going. So let's try, what was I gonna do? Just bringing our lower leg back just a little bit till we feel we're hugging her rib cage. What that does is open up our inside hip for her to bend. And then we're gonna make a nice strong wall with our whole upper outside leg and our outside rein. Yes. Do you feel the bend? Excellent. And so let's just let on and off of that and play with that a little bit and see if we can't bring that on to turn her on the corners and do like a rectangle or a square. Just, it doesn't have to be a square, just think about bringing it on the corners. Yeah. Wow, you got a lot of bend there, right? You almost turned her all the way around. You know what? Let's click her for that. She actually did what we want, which is like turning without having to use the reins. Yeah. Disco. I may have to get Disco. Hi, buddy. You gonna hang out with me? You can't hang out with her. You can hang out with me. Come on. Good boy. Yeah, good boy. Oh, you're getting water. I'm sorry. He's like, hey, I was just going to get water, ma'am. Okay, so let's take our reins up a bit so we're not having to move our arms out all crazy to turn. And then we can use the same concept, which is strong, depending on which way you want to turn. We're gonna do a strong outside upper leg and seat and
Strong outside rein. This is not inside leg to outside rein, but we will build on this to eventually learn that. Everything I'm teaching is building blocks and stepping stones for dressage.
very nice. Good, strong outside leg, and yes, excellent. Now let's give her a little more rein now that she's moving so that you can easily move your elbows by your side. There. Good. Okay, and then whenever you're ready, since we're starting to get some trotting behavior, let's try a half halt. And then half halt into a slow walk. Good. And then again, let's ask her to speed it up. Walk on. She's a little confused, that's okay. All right, click her for that because we want to reinforce the thing she's a little confused about. And then here in the same, let's half halt, and then we're gonna stop. So feel the difference of that.
Molly is learning all kinds of new things. She just learned about half halts last lesson, and she's only ridden Davina about 3 times. They're still getting to know each other. Today we changed Molly's position a bit. She lengthened her stirrups to feel more comfortable. We had to find a good middle ground for where she should be sitting and feels comfortable. Today she's learning how to bend Davina, find the right position independently, how her seat can speed up and slow down her horse, and how her body can allow Davina to bend or encourage it to bend.
Okay, and now I want to play with that concept I taught you just now of the outside wall and the inside bend, is that we're going to see how light we can do it and still get a response. So that way we're not like straining everything in us all the time, only when we have to. Just see if you can get a little bend and minimal effort on your part. Good. Yeah, so that's a little bend. That's maybe what we use most of the time when we have her cooperation, and then we start to feel her pushing into that. We're gonna up our strength on it.
So now we're playing with how light we can be with our aids and finding the sweet spot for how much our horse needs from us so we can encourage lightness with our aids.
Let's change direction. Let's click, have her go through the sand, stop and feed.
Just a quick reminder that we're using Plus our clicker training with Davina, and every few minutes at least, we will click her for behaviors we want, and then we'll go ahead and make her walk on, stop, and then we feed. And we decided that we're going to do feeding on either side, have her bend either way, intermittently, so that she gets to stretch both ways.
See if we can do like a little circle on one of our square corners. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So just extreme bend and let her do that little circle and then continue on your way.
At this point, Disco comes and interrupts our lesson. I am putting pens up for him, so he's not just in the arena all the time. But for now, we have to make do. That's why I have a halter on him, and he comes up to me before the rider, so I just entertain him, or sometimes I stand with him, or sometimes we tie him up with a feed bag, and he gets to eat and practice being tied.
You are chaos. Why? Why are you chaos? You sweet boy.
He's itchy right now as spring's coming in, shedding.
Good boy. Are you itchy boy?
So some tips to help you if you don't have a riding coach and you are just riding your horse and want to work on this stuff that we're working on in this lesson. Roll your shoulders, move your seat around, rotate your legs, and see what gets your horse to move forward and what stops them. Practice putting an outside wall on and see what happens. Practice putting your inside leg on and see what happens. And then play with how light you can get it. The idea here is we open up our hips and our body to allow our horse to bend, and we encourage them not to go out. Again, this is all with the seat and body. And eventually you should be able to drop your inside rein and be able to turn your horse anyway. Now I got to hop on Davina at the end here. So I have some numbness and weakness in my legs. I also have some pain in my lower back, and then my ankle all the way down my inside leg up to my inner thigh and hip area is kind of stiff and locks up. So I have some trouble using my legs and having much strength, and I'm probably a little off balance. I can see from here that my shoulders are rotated forward. I'm sitting a little too far back. My ankles and feet are a bit stiff, and my legs don't want to stretch down. So I'm in a bit of a chair seat. I'm also in a bit of a seat that a man would typically have compared to a woman due to their torso and leg length difference from us. But I'm behind the movement on Davina, so I should expect her to be moving quite slow, although this is in slow-mo so I can talk to ya, and I could expect to be a little bit uncomfortable in this position. But personally, I was just happy to get up there, and I think next time I might go back to no stirrups, because that way my feet will be a little more comfortable and perhaps my legs can stretch down a little bit. But this position makes me feel like I'm drowning a little bit and don't have much strength to hold my reins up. And considering Molly's lesson, something that my legs need to do is my thighs need to rotate to allow my heel not to be right on the horse. But that's just not something I'm physically capable of at this point, and so my body is sitting me in a little bit of a chair position, and on top of that my arms have to reach forward quite a bit to make contact with the rein, and that's okay. I'm a para rider and I will just have to figure these things out. A lot of the old classical masters also had some disabilities they had to contend with, and that's why they sought for lightness with their horses in training and with the aids. I don't have the leg strength to be nagging my horse all the time. I need them to go off of my seat, and I just need to fix my seat a little bit to make my horse more comfortable, so allowing them to do what I want to do.
Yeah, it's so nice.
I feel like a little twinge in my ankle and my hip socket on this side, but my back feels okay.
My back did not feel great the next day. I'm going to ask Davina to trot in a second here, and I am just not ready to do that. I realized it, she realized it, and she said no, and we love that in a school horse. Join us next time as we work with Shasta. Remember to subscribe and like to help us reach more horse lovers so we can help more horses and teach others to be better horsemen.